The fear that you'll end up alone can strike us at different points in life. For some, it sneaks up on them in their 30s, and others start to worry when they're teenagers. I was convinced I would never make a friend my age at the world-weary age of 6. And I wasn't even overreacting. See, I grew up mostly as an only child when my sisters left for grad school when I was 5. And my parents, my wonderful, hardworking immigrant parents, didn't really understand play dates. So I hung out with their colleagues. And it is amazing how weird you turn out when you're the youngest person you know by 30 years and a master's degree. The closest thing to friends that I had were the characters in the sci-fi books and the Japanese cartoons that I loved. That is until I met Danny. Danny was a second grader's dream best friend. He had this imagination and creativity that, with both curse words and colored pencils, that was incredible. And he had this spastic energy, like a rubber band being shot across a classroom. And he was so brave and so loyal that he would stand up to his friends in front of the teachers. Mrs. Waterman, you can't get Sean and Mark in trouble. You can't ask us to do group work and not expect we're not going to talk to each other. He was kind of a badass. And I thought he was so cool. I was terrified to introduce myself to Danny because Pokemon and its far superior rival, Digimon, didn't do a very good job modeling how to initiate human-human friendships. One day early on in the school year, I was illustrating my well-reasoned analysis about why the advanced technology in Batman Beyond made it a better TV show than Batman the Animated Series. Everyone's a critic. Danny walked up to me with this skeptical look on his face. Are you drawing the Batarang from Batman Beyond? Because Batman Beyond is awesome. The fights are so good. That was all I needed to hear. I know. And isn't it cool how his better computers means he has to solve harder problems? Yeah. But the best part's definitely the big explosions. So maybe we appreciated different things about cartoons. But finally, here was someone who spoke my language. I bonded with Danny and his friends on the playground. Every day, we would hunt down and kick the crap out of imaginary dragons and demons, and all invariably leading the charge, rallying us with the cry of, "Come on, guys, we can't let the Dark Lord win," was our fearless leader. He made doing something so lame look so awesome. Danny and I became closer in school, but we became inseparable when we joined the same youth track team. Now, when adults would ask me who my friends at school were, my face would light up. My best friend, his name is Danny, and he is so good at drawing the characters from Dragon Ball Z. And he is the fastest kid on our track team. Okay. That's great. Good you have friends. They had never seen me so excited. There are so many dumb platitudes about romantic relationships, like, we make each other better people. Or sometimes he or she understand me better than I understand myself. And we can all agree those are dumb cliches. They mean nothing. They're stupid, right? But they were all true about our friendship. about our best friendship. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I had that. But it all came to a screeching halt in 4th grade. Danny started blowing me off, first in the classroom, and then at the lunch tables, and worst of all, at recess. He could go and spend time with the cool kids by the swings while I retreated back to my books. Autumn marked the fall in my trust in him, and by winter, no teacher-led intervention could stop the cracks between us from becoming chasms. I knew that my last chance to save our friendship would be during track that season. One day, after running warm-up laps, we wander under the bleachers and we find these tall, skinny green onion stalks. Danny pulls one up and in one smooth motion whips the air a couple times and challenges me. For old time's sake, want to fight? I hesitantly pull one up as he whips at me, slow enough that I can jump out of the way, but fast enough to get things going. Now, I can usually keep a level head when play fighting, but today I'm overcome by it. My heart begins to race, and my blood begins to boil, and I begin to think to myself, for old time's sake? Screw for old time's sake. So I cock back and thwack! I whip Danny across the face. He yells in pain as a red welt begins to form. When our track coach comes over to see what all the commotion is about, Danny says in a tone of utter disgust, "This kid hit me." This kid. That's what I am now. And there's no coming back from that. I'm in a haze for the rest of the night, and by the morning, that turns to dread as I fear facing him. But when I think my stomach can sink no lower, I realize that we had vocabulary homework, and I forgot to do it. Even as a first-time offender, I am imprisoned on the scarlet benches in the middle of our playground, serving a sentence that lasts as long as it takes for me to finish my homework, while my classmates run by and jeer at me. As I listlessly scribble my way through it, I notice someone shuffling up to me out of the corner of my eye. And there, kind of timidly looking at his shoes, is Danny. He raises his gaze just enough to see what question I'm on, and he mumbles, "I think the answer to that one is peculiar." I'm confused. Danny, why are you trying to help me? Because I got a dragon to slay, and I can't do it alone. Now, this was a bold-faced lie, and we both knew it. Danny could absolutely take on a dragon by himself. I was only really helpful against like nerdy villains, like evil magicians or math homework. But in that moment, I had my best friend back. And that feeling of forever being alone completely vanquished. Thank you.